There we go.
Hola,
Hola, everybody.
how are you?
Oh, look. Miss Debbie's in the house.
What's up,
What's up, Debbie?
baby? Booyah! Just in time, my dear. Just in time.
That's right. You're just in time.
So what's cooking? Good looking. All right. With Oscar season. Okay, we are late
Yes.
night snacks.
We are
Half
half
of
of Late
us.
Night Snacks
Half
right
of
now.
us are half of us. Our other supporting players. The other 50% are in here in spirit. Love you, girls. Give us a ring, give us a
Give us a
holler,
ring.
come in the
Let us know what you're up
comments,
to.
whatever you want to do. Strip and do the do. Whatever. I miss you. Um, Tonight is episode 2
Yes.
of our Oscar coverage. If you weren't here last week or you didn't catch the episode last week, here's a little skinny for the dinny. I'll give you a rundown. But first, I'm that guy with his pup and the little guy.
Yep. And I'm DeWanda. So here we are.
Who's over here? Over here.
No, I'm. What? You need to learn how to point in the right direction.
Oh, I'm never going to learn how to point in the right direction. What's the fun in that? Anywho,
Okay.
here's the skinny. We're doing an Oscar coverage all the way up from last week up until Oscar night, where we will stream the Oscars live. Well, we will stream as the Oscars are playing live. I'm not going to stream the Oscars for you. If you want to see the Oscars, we'll let you know how and when and where to watch it as we get closer to the event. Oscars are our Super Bowl. Therefore, my history is I've pretty much tried to watch everything that's nominated, every single film that's nominated on the Oscar ballot, and we will accomplish that this year. I vow now it is possible for us, and we have vowed to do 100% ballot. And we're well on our way. Absolutely well on our way.
Hey, Debbie.
What's up, Chili Green?
Hi, Chili Green. How are you?
What's up? So we will be able to give you 100% our opinion, our skinny, our little deeps on each one of these nominations and what we feel is viable or absolutely foolish to be nominated. What's the politics and inner workings and just all the fiascos that go on with the Oscars. We covered last week. We covered God. What did we even cover last week? What was our theme last week?
Our theme was biographies last week.
Biographies. Yeah, we did. Most of the films that were actually around biography, like the Ricardos and Spencer and Gaga and House of Gucci and Batshit Tammy and all that. So tonight we will be doing fan favorites, franchise kind of films that are nominated. It really, ironically, ended up kind of being the visual effects category.
Yeah, we're pretty much doing that one category.
With the exception of one film, we'll talk about that when we get there. But this is always an interesting category because it's usually the highest blockbusters are in this category. Yet with the least amount of nominations. I mean, let's just face it. We all need to agree to disagree that the Academy doesn't like blockbusters. The Academy doesn't.
I know. It's sad.
Academy doesn't like superhero films, fantasy films. They just have this aversion to the box office, whereas the box office keeps the film industry alive and keeps them in the Academy safe.
Right.
It's ironic. It's sad, but ironic. But so we're kind of talking blockbusters tonight. Kind of trying to talk the big deal. And yes, of course, the biggest blockbuster of the year is on this list. We'll get there.
It is.
Hashtag Tom is God. So, any bits of news, whatever, before we get started? Nuka Snorri, use my dog. He's going to be orchestrating the whole episode.
Because I don't have much going on right now. I'm still working on the same project I started. I did get a little bit farther, but that's pretty much all the news that I have on my end. What about your end?
Not much. We'll be getting into some of the other news as we get through this Oscar series of kind of some stuff that's going on. One bit of housekeeping news that we discussed this today because of my emergency last night is we're going to try, but we're not ironclad committing to the same 2 days of the week to do this. We are committing to 2 days a week because that's how the schedule permits to get through all the movies. We are committing to 2 days a week through this whole series, through this Oscar series. We just don't know exactly all the time what days it's going to be. It's going to be around the Sunday and around the Wednesday. We'll keep you posted, and it will be posted prior to us just popping up and going live.
Right, and it will be it'll still be around the same time.
Yeah,
that we're doing it now.
Always going to be around this time. Always. That's Late Night Snacks. That's who we are. That's what we do. But so let us know if you guys got any suggestions on dates and times. I just say keep your notifications on if you're really interested in this series. You can also watch it afterwards. You don't have to be here live. We like you to be here live. We like the conversation, but at the same time, we just want to give you the skinny on these films because we will be continuing to watching them every night through until we get done, and we're over halfway done. So
yeah, we're over halfway there now.
We do have all the films though, so we're halfway done. Getting there. We also will, just before we get started, we will be covering all the shorts as well. So the shorts on a lot of these coverages aren't necessarily covered. We will be covering all the documentaries, all the shorts, foreign language films. We will be covering the 100% of the ballot.
Now, I did put the link to the Oscar checklist if you guys want to follow along with us and try and watch as many movies as you can. Not all of them are on the streaming services. Some of them are only in the theaters or to purchase, but there's quite a bit that are on various streaming services throughout. So
more than half.
More than half of them. Yeah.
Get a good, big clump of them. We're not doing this review by a category of nomination. We're doing these reviews more, or talks of these films more in their style of film or what they're covering. Like we did the biographies, we're doing franchise films now, and we will be doing films around musical stuff and films around
mothers and daughters,
like that. So just know that we're not following a ballot per se per category. Anyway, enough of my bullshit. Let's get on with your thoughts. So, tonight's films we're going to be talking briefly about Free Guy, about Shang-Chi. It is Shang-Chi, by the way. That's how they
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Shang-Chi, Cruella, God, and Dune. There you have it. What's God? Y'all should know by now if you're tuning into this channel. Spider-Man, No Way Home. We're talking about. Okay, so let's start with. Let's go ahead and start with. I did it.
Yeah, she downloaded the checklist. Good.
That we put up there. I've used it for the last couple of years, and those guys that do it is thegoldknight.com, and they put this checklist together, which is an amazing cross-reference checklist. Is the one we're referring to. If you haven't checked the comments, it breaks down the films by number of nominations they have, what categories they're nominated in, and if and where you could stream them, or if they're only in the theaters, and what service they're being streamed on, if it is streamable. So it's a fantastic.
Well, we can tell right now what movie Debbie loves the most.
Why?
Happens to be Dune.
Oh, you got this font too.
She's got the cool font.
We'll talk about Dune last, Debbie. So pitch it. If whatever you want to say about Dune, type away.
Yeah, feel free.
We will talk about it. It's going to be an interesting conversation because we will probably talk the most about Dune because of its number of nominations.
Yes,
a surprising number of nominations. Anyway, so Free Guy. Let's jump right into this nonsense. Free Guy, nonsense. I don't know how you guys feel. It's really well. To me, as soon as I got like halfway in and the little twists, the absolute unoriginal, uninspired popped up, I was like, we have seen this before and again and again. This is Pleasantville. This is EdTV. This is, all of them stupid films that it's a thing within a thing that's being controlled by the thing on the outside. Only this twist.
We're basically inside a video game is what we are.
Been there, seen it, done it.
Been there, seen that, done that.
I know everybody was talking about this film about how funny it was.
I didn't find it that funny, actually.
It was absolutely unoriginal, and how the special effects and stuff. Yeah, the special effects and stuff I thought would have been fun in another scenario. in a film that took the meaning of those special effects more seriously. Like if we were doing a movie about that world, and that world was the plot, and these crazy special effects were going on within that world. But because you had this juxtaposition of these players playing the characters that are in there that didn't match the world, because that was supposed to be this big twist, it made the special effects just absolutely obnoxious.
Yeah, it was kind of all over the place. There really wasn't any plot. It's like they couldn't make up their mind how they wanted it to go.
Yeah, the basic plot was you had these gamers who had their own inner politics about who wanted to control the game and how they wanted the game controlled. The characters within the game were kind of starting to branch out, free themselves, or whatever, the little thing, or the players were more not in control of just the actual game moves, or whatever. Ryan Reynolds is in characters who's represented in the one guy that's the protagonist of the whole thing playing the game, and it is predictable. It is what it is. I thought first off when I was watching the first 15 minutes, this is Deadpool. I mean, Ryan Reynolds,
because he did the intro and it sounded just like Deadpool. He's like, "Oh no, we're doing Deadpool all over again."
And see what's ironic about that, remembering back on a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that went on during this film. This film he got and was filmed after Deadpool 2, when there was a big hiatus unknown about the Disney acquisition, and that they didn't know if there was going to be a Deadpool 3. So I think he was throwing his Deadpool back out there to show everybody how much everybody Deadpool. It was just weird.
Yeah, Debbie, this one would probably be pretty hard for you to watch, babe.
No, babe. I stay far away from this one with what you're asking about. No, absolutely not. This one is constantly.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen to you. So,
absolutely. It's lots of explosions and cut scenes and things flying across the screen and
bright lights and things like that, and that's just not good for you.
Film. So that's Free Guy. Take it, leave it. It is a summer fun blockbuster film. If the theaters were in a better shape, I'm sure it would have been this huge phenomenal money success because the stars, action, and all that in it. But I don't even know what it did box office wise. I don't
know either. All I know is that it got one nomination for visual effects,
which was earned.
We're basically going to be talking about the visual effects category tonight.
It was earned, and it was nothing to write home about. The visual effects were what the movie was. It was a visual effects film. That's it.
It was a typical rom-com, boy meets girl, blah 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 kind of thing,
with a bunch of explosions in the background.
Okay. Cruella.
Segment here because the three of the visual effects nominations are all Disney films. And it's about all the nominations Disney got this year with these types of films. So Cruella.
Hit it. I actually enjoyed this one a lot because I hadn't seen it until a couple of nights ago. The performances from Emma Stone and Emma Thompson were really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Why it wasn't put? Oh, I'm sorry. Cruella was put up for costume design and makeup and hairstyling. So, and it's well deserved because they did a really good job with that. But this is a really fun. This is a really fun movie. They did a little bit of a different take on it, but they didn't stray too far from the whole Cruella de Vil thing. We just didn't get a lot of the 101 Dalmatian thing.
Yeah, because what this is,
they only had like 3 dogs.
Yeah, because what this is, and I absolutely, this is one of my here. I've seen it a few times. I actually own it. And what the story is, if you have not seen Cruella, Cruella is in the 101 Dalmatians line, but this is not like the other live action 101 Dalmatians which were actually a remake of the film and a sequel. This is pretty much the origin story of Cruella de Vil without. This is pre-Dalmatian time in this. You see kind of how the Dalmatians get introduced as an interest to her, but it's not a story about the Dalmatians. It is the origin story of Cruella and how she became Cruella, because like a lot of origin stories of villains like Elphaba and Wicked and such, This story is she's the protagonist. She's the main good guy in this, and it shows
Yeah,
how is
that's how she starts.
yeah
Yeah.
to a form of evil because of circumstances around her. And Emma Stone deserved a nomination over freaking.
Yeah, I agree. She did.
She was phenomenal, and I like when Disney does these remakes like this. When they take a concept or an idea from one of their animated films and create a whole new story around it, not just kind of a redo of the live action redos of films. They've all been trash. This type of thing, this like Maleficent, things like this are
Yeah, you're right. The Maleficent was great.
yeah.
So yeah, it's along these lines. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it a lot.
Is its own original story with leading into you could go right into kind of the cartoon and that's where this movie ends kind of going into the story of the cartoon which is all the characters from the cartoon are introduced in there at some point and it kind of leads into it, but it stands alone as its own thing too, as just a good movie about a girl bad for circumstance. But it's the costume and makeup thing, I take or leave is just fantasy, not even a fantasy film. It's just it's Cruella. Yeah, it is what it is. There's nothing, oh my god, outstanding about that nomination. But I'm glad it's some sort of nod to where it's going to be spoke of the night of the Oscars, and people are remembering that film existed, because that film was another film that was released at a really unusual time of the year. It was released earlier last year, and it just kind of it was one that just went to Disney Plus and just kind of sat there and did its thing. It's kind of like Black lost a lot of financially. It was a disaster, for the studio. But I think this one's going to be preserved well, and I think it's going to stand the test of time for a while. It's really cool.
And both of the leads in the movie did really well, because we had Emma Stone and Emma Thompson.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Devil Wears Prada. It's kind of it's on a fashion
kind of like that
type of thing. So it's her character is fun. She's great. I think there is talk of another one. I think continuing.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Brings about it, but we'll see, because it does lead right into the cartoon. But there are spaces they could fill to see what they do with her character. I hope they don't lead into a remake of 101 Dalmatians with Emma Stone, because then that's just the overkill. We've already had that with Close. Already did that, so here nor there. All right, next two Marvel films are our next two Disney films are two Marvel films nominated this year, and the first one is Shang-Chi. Which Shang-Chi is possibly when I talk Marvel films, we can't talk Spider-Man because I'm biased. There's Spider-Man doesn't hold in rankings for me, because I don't view that film or that franchise as part of how I'm judging things, because it's the whole world, the movie industry could fail and Spider-Man's still there for me, so it doesn't matter. But Shang-Chi for me, excluding Spider-Man, was my favorite Marvel film this year. Because this film, when Marvel releases a brand new character that's new on the scene for viewers. Shang-Chi's been around quite a bit for comics, but he was new on the scene for the layman, for viewers to Marvel. And I think, like Guardians, this one really was fleshed out. It really kind of in a non-COVID environment. I think this one would have been just this huge international hit, because all of the film worked. It worked magically, just how it all pieced together. The guy that they cast to play Shang-Chi is phenomenal. He fit right in as a hero of the Marvel Universe. Surprisingly well, they fit this right into their whole MCU line, and where that's going to fit in, like moving forward, like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and how Shang-Chi's going to fit in with the Avengers, and that stuff moving forward it worked. But what I wanted,
can we talk about Aquafina?
We will. To that last. But the special effects of this and what it's nominated for is phenomenal. I mean, it deserves to win. This is the film that deserves to win for this. Dune, I think, will win, obviously. But this one, I think, is better than the special effects of Dune, because the use of the fantasy and the magic, because this is the first time real magic was shown in the MCU, and they did it in such a way that it was unique to like the Harry Potter universe, or unique to to anything like that. There's like a Shangri-La type of land kind of like Iron Fist has the same type of land, and but basically it's a land of pure fantasy where dragons are like the protectors of this land. They have this overlord dragon in there. Those visual effects on that were done so amazing. It's so beautiful. It's so captivating, and the story that goes into that, it's not the fantasies and the special effects aren't frivolous. It means something to the story. It means something to this land. It's not showboaty. You don't get lost in the effects and forget about the story. It's the story. The story drives this thing forward, and it's a story of family, basically. You can cut it down to that simple. It's about a father and his two children, and how his two children grew up without their father because their father's mind was corrupted at the loss of their mothers. Typical kind of Disney Marvel where a parent dies and the kids are left to fend for themselves and end up, either rising to the occasion or falling to the occasion. And the father, ironically, though, if people aren't putting the two and two together, which some people aren't, they're not so much on the MCU spectrum. The father is the actual, for real, Mandarin. And who's the Mandarin? Yes. Mandarin is Iron Man's lead villain, and this is kind of the MCU's apology for their whole fuck up with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. Because remember, Iron Man 3 introduced the Mandarin as a drunk British actor, and he was posing as the Mandarin to script things, and it was somebody else that was actually pulling the puppet strings through that. And the fan base of the Avengers and Iron Man, people who are really diehards of the MCU, were just pissed that they were good. I actually liked it. But in this film, they bring back that actor. And
played by Ben Kingsley, by the way.
And he continues that character and bring it full circle. And they show why the Mandarin had this actor portray him and everything. And Ben Kingsley's funny. He's kind of the comic relief, kind of steals the show. But the standout issue of this film, like Don was getting ready to say, is Awkwafina. Awkwafina is the best thing, in my opinion, that has happened to the MCU in a while.
She's one of the best sidekicks I've ever seen.
She is the best sidekick I've ever seen. She complements the hero so well. I wanted to follow Awkwafina's character more than I wanted to follow Shang-Chi. I mean, because she goes through a story arc herself in this. It's not like this frivolous side character. She learns who she is. She learns who she is in the relationship with Shang-Chi. And they end up at the end of this, just to spoil whatever, but at the end, us, we spoil everything. At the end, they continue their journey together. So it's like a duo instead of just Shang-Chi. And her wit and her humor is spot on. I've not seen that kind of humor and wit hadn't attracted me that quickly since Tiffany Haddish in Lego Movie 2. I can watch Awkwafina. I'm gonna watch Shang-Chi tonight.
I was actually when Shang-Chi came out, I was apprehensive because I'm not into the comics. I don't follow them verbatim or anything like that. So I wasn't sure what to expect. So
and it was
when I saw it, it was just incredible for me. It was like, oh, I really like this. I was apprehensive for a while. I didn't want to be disappointed, and I was not disappointed in any way.
Yeah, I think bad that it got released in the time that it got released, just like Black Widow. It kind of fell by the demise of COVID, and it's a shame because it would have been a lot bigger of a character, and hopefully the steam and stuff could pick up for this franchise and for this character. But if you're a Marvel fan and you're hesitant about this one, I say hesitation no more. Go watch it. If you like the Marvel films, this one's a gem, hands down. Absolutely, it's fun. It is a fun movie, and it's also a heartwarming movie because the family element of it is so pure. There's nothing forced. It's a pure, just loving family film. And when they get into the whole mother story, and there's actual realization about what really is happening with the mother and their feelings, and the father and the two children's relationship with all that, it's so heartwarming. It's so of course it's written really, really well for them.
I honestly hope that this is the movie that's going to win this category.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But I would love to. It would make my night. But I think Dune is going to be there. We'll get to Dune in a minute. I mean, come on. What do we say about Spider-Man? Well, let's talk. How many hours y'all got? No, just kidding. Spider-Man No Way Home is the biggest movie of the year.
Hi, Blaze. Welcome to the show.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Look at if you're unfamiliar with what's happening with Spider-Man No Way Home, just look up headlines on Google and you will see exactly what the about. Spider-Man No Way Home basically saved the film industry. I mean, the expectations of this film was set so high, the bar was set so high, and it exceeded and trampled those expectations. Spider-Man No Way Home is over 2 billion worldwide. They're trying to hit the 2 billion mark in the United States. And how they're going to do that is there are rumors right now that they're going to re-release in March, re-release an extended version of No Way Home in theaters with additional footage. The Blu-ray DVD digital release announcement just was announced yesterday, I think, and there's going to be almost 100 minutes of extra stuff on that Blu-ray, which is unprecedented for Marvel. So they're really Marvel and Sony are really celebrating this film just for the feats of what this film did. And as a film, take it or leave it, it's surely not my favorite Spider-Man film, but
No.
that film is so real, and I can watch the last hour of that film over and over and over and over, and it'll never get old because the heart is so pure in it. And I don't. Are we out of spoiler territory for Spider-Man No Way Home? I've spoiled it a million times, but if you guys haven't heard, the announcement for the Blu-ray just told the world anyway. If you hadn't seen it,
Right.
I mean, in fact, the thumbnail for their announcement was the three Spider-Men pointing at each other, the infamous meme. But all three Spider-Mans are united in this film in a very clever way, a way that makes sense, a way that's is not forced. It's great. And
That's my phone.
I was like,
I forgot to mute it.
And so if you've not seen it, you probably need to see the other Spider-Man films, and then that starts the downward fall. You need to see the Tobey films, you need to see Andrew's films, you need to see Tom's films. If you see Tom's films, then you see Civil War. If you see Civil War, then you see it's crazy. Okay, so what she said, that meme?
Say that guy. I have a picture for you.
Is it the meme?
Putting it in the group chat.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's the film itself, outside of story or outside of the love of whoever Spider-Man you love, they're all there and they're all great. Andrew's phenomenal in this. And all the other old villains are in there, and just the fun and the romp. It's what it did. It's what this film was able to accomplish right at the end of the year when the box office was dismal. People were actually questioning the survival of the film industry. Theaters were starting to close down and question their longevity in the film industry. And you have major Americana films hitting the box office and just crashing and burning, such as West Side Story. When West Side Story came out, it failed. The Steven Spielberg Americana musical, one of the most popular musicals in the world, West Side Story, crashed and burned. In the other Marvel films, crashed and burned. And Spider-Man came in and said, I got this. It did better than it would have in a regular year. It absolutely superseded everybody's expectations. And why is that so important? Not just for the money. It was because they wanted faith back into the film industry. They wanted to show that the public and to the American people and to film goers, it was okay to come back and enjoy a film. Films are going to be around. Theaters are going to survive. Blockbusters still exist. It was a signal to the studios to say, keep making your films. We'll get them in the seats. So however you feel about COVID and what's going on, this is just a sign of good faith to people that movies are part of our life. They should be celebrated, and we're still alive. We're still going to do this. And single-handedly for a film to do that is pretty crazy.
Sure. I'll show you the picture she put in.
And then what it did,
appropriate.
Tom Holland came out with Uncharted, the video game movie, right after, and it crushed the box office as well. So this kid's got a gem. You know, he's got a Lucky Charm next to him, but it's also Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man is the biggest money-making franchise in the world, and they knew that if any film could do this, give this good faith back to people, it was Spider-Man. So it's going to make another fortune on Blu-ray DVD when it comes out. Everybody's anticipating it. If this re-release happens, everybody will be right back in the theater seeing it. It's the magic of this film, plot-wise and knobs, yeah, that's the meme. What we're showing here about this is the three of them pointing at each other like, you're Spider-Man, and old comic book meme when they first started talking about I forget the origin of that original comic book cartoon scene. Maybe if you find the little cartoon one, we'll pull it up as well. But they recreated that. Everybody wanted them to recreate that. In fact, they wanted it as a big poster for them to recreate that, because the three Spider-Man in the cartoon scene pointing at each other is so famous. I mean, so the fact that Sony did this to announce the home video release of this was people went crazy. It was all over the place. So that's the picture I was talking about. Anyway,
so that's the picture, yeah.
Down Spider-Man. The fact that it only got one nomination is gut wrenching, but you know what Spider-Man told the world? They don't need any nominations. People are going to remember 2022 by Spider-Man alone. They're not going to remember it from all of these different art house films that are the Academy. We're just playing the Academy's game. Does Spider-Man deserve like the 10 nominations plus that Dune gets? Absolutely, it does.
Yeah, I agree.
Dune is artistically a better made film. I will give it that. But history. This film, Spider-Man No Way Home, is going to be history making. It's going to be in the history books. It's when people talk about COVID in the film industry, they will talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Ironically, it's good. It's going to be that level of conversation that this film has. So I know it's going to be celebrated that night. One thing that the Oscars are really good about is, even though a film not necessarily got nominations, if it is a big news story type film, they will honor it on the night. So you better believe you're going to see Toby, Tom, and Andrew all at the Oscars, either presenting an award. There's even been rumors to have them host the Oscars together. There'll probably a beginning musical number, and Spider-Man No Way Home, the three Spider-Mans may be part of that. Tom is a dancer, so and an acrobat, so there's thoughts of that. So expect this to have a big presence on Oscar night, even though it's not going to have a big presence in the.
Yeah.
Could it win visual effects? Sure, it could win visual effects. They did a lot of great, amazing, but it will not, because that's the one criticism this film does. Ironically, this is the one award it was nominated from. People are saying that the film was rushed and the visual effects were actually sloppy in this film, and I agree. There are the visual effects in the end of the film that are not quite done, and it's when we get it home on 4K, release and stuff, people are going to see it and be able to point this pretty more readily, and that's a little bit disappointing for Marvel. But again, this is a Sony Marvel production, and Sony's known to cut corners. Take it or leave it. So that was Don. Go ahead and introduce Dune, and I have to check something really quick. Okay. But I'm listening. I'm here.
All right. So, and now we're going to talk about Dune. Now, this is on the list. This movie is up for 10 nominations, which I will tell everybody the nomination list. It is up for Best Picture, Cinematography, Costume Design, Film Editing, Makeup and Hairstyle, Music Original Score for Hans Zimmer, Production Design, Sound, Visual Effects, and Writing Adapted Screenplay. Now, when you're watching this movie, it's beautiful when you're watching it. Now, Debbie's probably going to shoot me because I'm actually going to say this out loud. I am not a huge Dune follower. I've seen the original, I've seen the miniseries, and I wanted to see this because of the cast, because the cast is amazing. You have, Timothée Chalamet, and we have, who else? There's Timothée Chalamet, and I can't remember his name. He played Khal Drogo.
you got Dave Bautista, you got Timothy Chalamet, you got Zendaya, you have well, see, now you made me forget his damn name. Come on, y'all, Khal Drogo.
Uh-huh.
And see, why'd you say that? Now you made me forget. Aquaman. Now we look like a pop culture for Gary Manager. Who the fuck played Aquaman? What the fuck is his name? I can't look it up. My phone. Debbie, come on, help us.
And now it's gonna bug me until I can figure it out. Come on, Debs.
This is just old age. We know who this. Aquaman. God. See, you did this on purpose. Oh my god! Now I look.
I did not.
Hold on. Now I look like a fool. I don't even have access to this on my phone. Dude, jeez, I'm gonna feel so freaking stupid.
Oh,
Jason Momoa, Jesus Christ.
Jason Momoa. I can't believe I couldn't remember his name. I could not remember his name.
Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa. You've got Skarsgård, Stellan Skarsgård. You've got David. Yep. Josh Brolin is in this, and Javier Bardem is in this. It is just an absolute ongoing star-studded cast, and well deserved, and well acted, and everything about this film. As I come back on camera, everything about this film is deserving of everything it's being accoladed for, and it could even sweep the Oscars. Hands down, the Oscars. However, my problem with Dune, and this is just my opinion, this is not against any of the Dune lovers, because I can understand, and I am interested. I can understand why you guys all deep dive into Dune, because it is that type of story or franchise that is very easily, the doors are flying open to deep dive into. I mean, that's the other night, just deep diving into this mess. I'm very curious. I think I'm going to read the book for the first time in my life too after this. But that said, this story has got some. Well, this film adaptation of a epic book story has got some real. And that's my own personal problem with this film is about the middle hour, because it's long. It's 2.5 hours plus.
It's 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Yeah. That middle 45 minutes hour is painfully slow and unnecessary in the bigger scheme of this. I mean, they showed in the 1980s that this whole film can be done in 2 hours. This is only the first part of they're planning, I don't know how many they're planning on doing, 3, 4, I think, or something.
Do we even know? I thought it was like 3, or I think they're doing 3 or 4.
Yeah. All I know was they were hesitant on greenlighting the second part until they figured out how the first part was going to be received. Second part is greenlit. It's moving forward. Even though the box office wasn't great for this, the reception and the awards accolades and all this stuff was hands down enough to give the studio faith to continue this. And it deserves to be continued. This story deserves to be told. They put in a lot of money and a lot of effort to tell this story as beautiful as it is. I mean, this film visually is absolutely stunning. I mean, when I first watched it, the first hour of it, I was mesmerized by the.
Yeah, Debbie said probably 3 movies and then a TV series.
Yeah, because those are Children of Dune and Messiah and all of that. But wow, I mean, I have not seen and been felt emotionally about just visuals that this film gives you since the original Lord of the Rings. This is truly epic filmmaking. This is truly the team that put this together, and the director and the producers and all that, have such a passion for this project, because they have put everything into it, and it screams at it. It bleeds at the passion behind it. It's just, it took me three settings to sit down and actually get through this. And I honestly, I still have 10 minutes left. I have not, because I still have 10 minutes left. I haven't got to the end yet of where they're at. So I can't say that I'm oh my God, Dune's changed my life.
Yeah, I know.
It did. It has opened the door for me. I am open-minded to starting to explore this franchise and explore everything that the author Frank somebody had to offer to to the world when these novels were originally written. I love epic storytelling. I mean, this truly is one of the biggest, like Lord of the Rings, big epics, storyline. It's very Game of Thronesy. It's very family. You got the different houses and the different politics and all that stuff. There's some real horror to this stuff. I mean, oh my God, the the Harkonnen, all the Harkonnen stuff, and the Baron and stuff is it's gross. You know,
Yeah.
This the angst of this movie. They really presented the anxiety and the angst really well at parts of this movie. It's just that middle hour. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was really poorly paced to almost halt that movie in the middle. It's like I didn't need to know all of the projections on the equipment on how they're doing spikes and stuff. It's like just give us what we want.
I love this. Debbie's like, the Dune universe is vast, confusing, and fucked up. Also glorious. Yes, that is true.
That's how vast and confusing. Like I did. Here was my deep dive on this. I'm sitting in the bathtub because I do everything in the bathtub. Sitting in the bathtub, and I'm like, I need a guide because that's how I started with Game of Thrones when I read the first book and watched the first season. This is, I mean, I was like kind of first season kind of guy with Game of Thrones, and when I did that, I had the family trees, I had the maps of the world, and I was able to visually cross-reference these things as I'm following it, and it helped me follow it, helped me get into it much more quickly. I didn't have said guide during this, and I'm like, wait, who's this and who's that? Wait, what? You know, because this is all brand new to me. And so I was kind of figuring it all out. And then so I started deep diving. 4 hours later, I'm still sitting there deep diving in this Dune stuff and still don't understand anything. So
yeah, she said best casted film ever, possibly, and I got my artistic nods to 1984 and Jaworski.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, that's what grabbed me from the jump from this movie was right for the start. The movie is beautiful. It is beautifully shot film, and the artistic design of their actual sets and stuff. Like, you know, when they go into I don't know, the Baron's world, and where he's all those bodies up and like upside down crosses and the sacrifices that
yeah.
And just that noise and everything. It's crazy. It's absolutely phenomenally crazy.
The first half was incredible, but then you get into where they're running around in the desert, and you're just, that's where it kind of really slows down.
In my opinion, as a layman, and Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong, two mistakes that I think this film makes for somebody new to this epic story was they did a lot of shots and a lot of storytelling through dual scenes, meaning like towards the end when the event, not to spoil it because there are some people like me hadn't seen it, the event that happens with the lead character's father and the consequences of that with his son and the mother, they tried to show it happening simultaneously, and the way they did it didn't come across that way really well. So it was very confusing with the jumping back and forth between the scene.
Yeah,
you get the feel that these two are feeling the same thing that he's feeling at the same time and are getting the knowledge. And I got it, but it took a minute, and it still didn't. It fell flat trying to do that. That didn't play out well. And then another mistake I think they did is they put too much emphasis on the damn worm and then only showed it once.
And all the machinery.
Yeah, it only showed the damn worm once. It's like, if you want to make this the start of your film, if you want to make that one of your central focal points, then show the damn thing off. You know, it really make that because I remember I think the 80s movie, the TV miniseries showed it a whole lot more, and it was there. Yeah. If it's such a danger to this world and it's such a critical, just absolutely, everybody talks about the worms and you can't do anything against the worms and the worms this, the worms that, the worms. Show it. Keep showing it. Cycling through the sand. You don't even have to show its face or anything. You can show the hump at the back and, you know, doing all that stuff. It's like the actual shot of the one worm was like 5 seconds. You know, when they ate all this in. I don't know how the second, third, fourth, fifth, eighth, ninth, 20th part's going to be with the worms. Just to the story. But another thing is by doing this as only the first part of just a novel, it's not even like a novel part, the second novel, the third novel. This is part of the first novel. It's like so many chapters in. I think the ending really, well, I haven't got to the very, very end yet, but the plot lines that go up to the ending fall flat because it's not this big crescendo. Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, you're in the middle of a journey. You know,
Debbie's husband feels the same way that we do. And he wasn't a book fan either.
Yeah, it's like there's there's such a pull to get you invested in the story, and it's gonna leave you hanging. And it's not in cliffhanger type thing. It's just like you're not done. It's like
well, yeah, they kind of stop it in the middle.
Not done. That's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, let's tell the story. Like, okay, time's up. That's a good place to stop, with no formation of where to stop. I haven't watched the last 10 minutes. I'll if I need to amend that thought, I'll let you know I'm amending that thought. But that's how I fall asleep into the thing. Now, could I be a Dune fan in 6 months' time, in 3 months' time, or whatever, and that's all I'm doing is deep dive Dune? Sure. This is that does this to people. You know, this is the same thing in Game of Thrones, the same thing of like even Harry Potter, the same thing of these big, well-developed, franchises. They tend to trap me. They get me all the time. So I may become a Dune diehard or whatever Dune fanatics are called. But right now, I'm still really hesitant on the story because it's a lot. There's a lot to it, and they're not kind to the newbies. They're not kind to the layman on this because you're like, what the fuck am I watching? You know, it's I'm interested, but not really all that interested.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wait a minute, I'm interested again. No, forget it. 3 times this tech to me sit down and watch.
Yes, and now mind you, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. We're not.
Oh, sure.
Not here to
partial in the movie. I'm just saying how I felt emotionally, you know, going through it as a newbie. I understand.
Yeah, we're pretty much newbies, even though I have seen the original movie. I have seen the original movie. I have seen the miniseries, but it's been a long time. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I am interested enough that I'm gonna rewatch the. I own the original because of other circumstances. So I'll rewatch the original with Sting and all that, and see kind of how I feel about what is the. Because I think with the multiple renditions of this, as a layman, as a newbie, you get a sense of what the important plot points that they're trying to tell, because they kind of hit in every iteration, I imagine, that happens. So I want to see that, and then I'll throw my hand in the ring to read the book. I'll get it, and I'll try and read it. I tell you though, right now, I promise you, if it's boring as sin, I'll put it down. It's got. I did get the audiobook when I was trying to figure out some background stuff, and the audiobook plays okay. It's a weird kind of radio dramatization that they did for the audiobook. I'm like, well, y'all gonna act this whole damn thing out? It's crazy. But that's one of those type of audiobooks, so it should be kind of fun. But again, I'm going to try. I'm not going to promise nothing, because it's either going to have to grab me by the balls and keep kicking me in the nuts to do something, or I'll just leave it alone.
So I see that it's long for some people, but I don't care. It's what I have. Yeah, the writing.
I have a question for you to share with people as a Dune fanatic or Dune fan. What number one? What do y'all call yourselves? But number two, you said this is something you've been waiting for. If you've been following the fan community, what's the general consensus with the fan community? Is Dune fan?
Yeah, because we don't really know.
Are you guys thrilled to death with this, or has it been kind of a divisive thing, or are things pissing people off with this? I hadn't followed any reactions. I may sit down and look at some reviews, especially if this starts gearing into Oscar time and it starts looking to be the front runner of all this stuff, which it has the possibility to do. And that would be fantastic for fantasy and sci-fi film lovers for this to sweep the Oscars. It would be amazing. But is it going to go one or two ways, you know?
Debbie says it's wacky and it gets stranger with each book, like insane after book 3.
Oh, I know it's multi-generational because obviously the children of Dune and whatever, you know, blah, blah. But hopefully the production level of this continues, like Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings films. The same throughout the series. Unfortunately, with sequels and stuff like this, occasionally money starts getting clipped and production level goes down. But I will give the filmmakers of this and everybody involved absolute kudos. The passion of this project bleeds, and you could tell everybody was all in on this. And you know, hands down to Timothée Chalamet, who carried this movie on his back. And Oscar Isaac, they're phenomenal. Oscar Isaac is lost in that role. I didn't even realize that was Oscar for a while. I'm like, that's Poe Dameron. I mean, it was funny. We're sitting there watching it, and we're talking about how, there's Poe Dameron, and there's Drax, and there's Man and Khal Drogo, and there's MJ. She's looking for Spider-Man. That she and there's Timothée Chalamet sitting there. She said, "You ain't Peter. Get the fuck out of here." There's a lot of big franchise film people in this.
Yeah, she says the Dune people are extremely satisfied, and I'll jerk off to
Let me tell you, Hans Zimmer can kiss my ass. If Hans Zimmer was the one responsible for that, that shit,
oh God, that's
anxiety,
horrible.
that is, I don't know what it is about that tone and about that ugliness of that sound, but I about when's your panic disorder for that. That is the ugliest sound that he's ever created. But I guess it creates the atmosphere. It gave me the heebie-jeebie feel.
Yeah, but it's like fingernails going down a chalkboard.
Oh yeah, it was. It's just it was a really ugly noise. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, when they go into the bad people place, they have this soundtrack to them, introducing that land. I guess to represent the people in the Baron or like whatever. And it literally is just a sound. Oh God, it's ugly. And that Baron thing, fuck my life. I just turn away. I can watch horror films. I can watch stupid, gregarious violence and shit on TV. That's just I don't like it, but I can watch it. That man, which is I forget who plays him, eating and just being gross. He gross. Yeah. Just gross.
She says, "Oh yeah, everyone loves it except the '84 super fans who hate on it."
Yeah. You always got fans divided like that. I like the original. Da, da, da.
It's always like that though.
How does it compare to the book, Debbie? Does it follow the book well, or does it take the book and skim and throw it out the window? I would imagine it follows it well. It seems like that. It seems like that kind of project that is doing the book justice. I imagine the '84 movie was a real bastardization of that book. Yeah, I'm talking my ass. I don't know. I don't even know the character's name, so I know there's Paul, and there's can't keep his mouth closed eating Baron, and there's Podan, and then there's Khal Drogo, and then there's Drac. And
yep.
Okay. See,
yeah, but we're calling them by their character names from other movies, so
names I know. So when I'm watching, I can be like, "Did Poe do this?" It's fun. Kudos to Dune for the not. I love when it comes down to awards night and Dune just is dismissed. I'll cheer loudly for it if it's kind of sweeps. Unfortunately, I think the movie that's has the highest potential to sweep we're going to talk about soon or later on towards down the line. I won't spoil that which movie we think is kind of the front.
Yeah, Debbie says it follows the book very well with just enough liberties.
Good. Okay.
That's good to know.
The movie that I think is going to probably sweep this year. We won't spoil it, but we'll get into it. You'll like it, Debbie, because it's going to be another soapbox moment for me because it's it's the film that I think played people, So, anyway.
Yeah. But that is our rundown of the films tonight.
Yep. There you go.
So hopefully you guys will join us next week when we talk about episode 3.
What is 3?
Episode 3. I will tell you what it is in just 1 second.
Ooh.
I had it written down.
Oh, y'all didn't get a dose of your puppy love today.
Oh, yeah, we didn't get doses of puppy.
Okay, also. Con.
Where is he?
Okay, Con, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Let's see.
Oh, Nika, what are you doing? Puppy's got to be shown off. You were shown off too when you were up.
Oh, yeah. Next week we'll be talking about the animated films.
Okay, animated. Cool.
On Sunday, we'll be talking about the animated films.
Sean, baby. He's sleeping, huh? He's sleeping? Say hi to people want to see you. Why are you holding your head? What are you in your mouth? Like that. Say hi. Say hi. Oh.
Oh.
Y'all, he may be cute.
Oh.
He's a little bastard. He's mean. He's hard to control. But he'll be all right. What are you doing?
What's his hashtag name, Michael?
Well, his hashtag name was Klepto. Now his hashtag is hashtag little fucker. Huh.
But he's cute.
I don't know why he's doing that weird neck bend. Why are you doing that weird neck bend?
Yeah, he's cute. But yeah, Sunday we'll be talking about the animated films.
All right, there's good animation. These are great.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wait. One other thing I want to mention, and it's so off the side now, it probably doesn't even matter. I think it is, since we're talking about visual effects, just that category alone, it's a shame what has happened to Eternals. And I feel really bad for the filmmakers and for everybody involved with Eternals because, if nothing else, if you didn't like the characters, you didn't like the story behind these, Eternals visually effects and cinematography was stunning. It was absolutely one of the most beautiful Marvel films that's out there, and the way that film became the whipping post for Marvel
Yeah.
is absolutely love the Eternals. Love. Did you like it, Deb? Because I love the Eternals, and I hope they do more with those characters. I thought it was something new, something fresh to the MCU, and
Yeah.
people just didn't take to it like they did.
We will be talking Encanto and Luca on
Yes,
Sunday.
yes. We are in talking Encanto and Luca and the machines. What was somebody said?
We will be talking Luca, Encanto, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya, that's a cute movie.
And we'll be talking Flea and the Mitchells and the Machines.
Yes. Flea, however, we may be moving to documentary, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah, Flea's a different story. We may even talk about Flea kind of independently, but with the animated films, the real fun animated films, it's a great category this year.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, well, we'll talk about it. But we'll talk about off. We don't want to spoil anything. So
nope.
There you go.
Come back and join us on Sunday because it'll be fun.
We're here.
And on that note, we're gonna get out of here, but we will see you guys on Sunday. And everybody have a great week. Anything else you want to add before we go? Are you done? I think he's done. All right, everybody.
What? Don't forget.
Yeah,
you guys want us to talk about the lead up to Fantastic Beasts 3, or does nobody give a shit? Let us know. Because it's my wheelhouse, so we could definitely go Fantastic Beasts 3 if anybody cares. I love the politics of Beasts 3, so that would be kind of a fun thing to talk about. It's just the behind the scenes bullshit that's going on. But anyway, that's the point. That's after the Oscars. Here we go.
Yeah.
2, 3. We are.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you on Sunday.
Get the fuck out.